Okay, so this video is on the law of sine worksheet that we started today in class. So just to make sure everyone understands, if I have a triangle and I say that this is angle A, this is angle B, this is angle C, where the angles are always capital letters, then the side opposite A, angle A is going to be little a. The side opposite B is going to be little b. And the side opposite my capital C is going to be little c. And so if I have a triangle like this, then I can use the formula for law of sines, which is sine of A, angle A, over the side opposite it, which is little a, sine of B over the side opposite it, which is little b, sine of angle C over the side opposite, which is little c. So this is a law of sines that we're going to use. Now, when we're doing this, you're going to need to have a pair. When I say a pair, what I mean is you're going to need to know an angle and the side opposite it, one pair. Whether it's the A and A, the B and B, or the C and C. You're going to need to know one pair in order to use this formula, okay? Now, in some of these problems, I am not, so for example, in this one, you'll notice I know big A, I don't know little a, don't have that pair. I know big B, but I don't have little b, don't know that pair. And here I've got C, but I don't have the angle. But this angle I can easily find because if I know these two angles, A and B, I can find the third one by just taking 180 minus those. So I'm going to be using this C with angle C once I find it. So that's going to be the pair that I'm going to know. And then I'm going to use that to find the missing pieces. Now, when they say solve the triangle, what they mean is every angle or side you don't know, you need to find, okay? So I'm going to clear this and I'm going to start the actual problem. Okay, so in this problem, I know angle A is 37. Okay, I'm just going to get this a little smaller. So I know that this is 37 degrees. I know that B is 51 degrees. Okay, I know that little c, so little c is going to be right here across from angle C, that's going to be 15. Now, the ones I'm going to need to find, I'm going to need to find this angle C, okay, which I can easily do, understanding that a triangle adds to 180. And I'm also going to need to find this side, which is little b, and this side, which is little a. Those are the ones I'm going to find. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find C, angle C. So I'm going to take 180 minus 51 minus 37, and I end up getting 92. So this angle here is going to be 92. So I know C equals 92 degrees. Okay, so I found one piece. And again, this piece right here is going to help me because now I have a pair. Okay, now I have a pair. So I'm going to be using this to help me set up a ratio with B's. And then I'm going to be using this in the second equation to help me find up a ratio with my A's. Okay, so let me find this B here. And I'm going to just change this color so I can just color code so you guys can see. So if this is B, I'm going to be trying to find that little b. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do sine of the angle I know, which is 92, along with the side I know. Okay, so I want the one that I know the two, I know the pair, equals, and if I'm trying to find little b, I need to use the angle b, so sine of 51 over little b, and then I'm going to cross multiply and solve. Okay, so when I'm doing that, I'm going to multiply these together. I'm going to be multiplying these together. So I am going to get b times sine of 92 is equal to 15 sine 51. I'm going to solve for b. So I want to get b by itself. So I'm going to take 15 sine of 51 over and I'm going to divide by sine of 92. And I'm going to put that into my calculator. And then that is going to give me my side B. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter this in as a fraction. And to do that, I'm going to hit alpha y equal. Okay, again, the green alpha and the y equal, and just hit enter because I want number 1 there. And now I'm going to type in this fraction. You want to make sure your calculator's in degrees though. Okay, so 15 times sine of 51 over sine of 92. And I end up getting 11.66 for my answer. Okay, so this is going to be 11.66 for my answer. And then I'm going to work out A in a similar manner. So let me just get a different color. Let's say I do this baby blue. And I'm going to use that for this A here. Okay. I'm going to, again, use the pair you were given originally, the ones that you know for sure. So I'm going to do sine of 92 over 15. And then if I want to find A, I have to use the angle across from it. Okay. Just shrink this a little. So I'm going to do sine of 92 over 15 is equal to, and then this time I'm going to be using this pair, sine of 37 over A. I'm going to cross multiply. So I'm going to get A times sine of 92 is equal to, and then I'm going to cross multiply this direction, 15 sine of 37. I'm going to divide both sides by sine of 92. So 15 sine of 37 divided by sine of 92. And I'm going to put that in my calculator, and I'm going to get A equal. Okay. Now, the nice thing is with these graphing calculators, I can just come here and snag that because you'll see it's almost the same thing. 15 sine 37 over sine 92. So I can just hit arrow up and hit enter. And then I will just come up here and change this to a 37. And I get a 9.03. So my A is equal to a 9.03. Okay. So now let's take a look at number 2. So I'm going to draw the picture out for this. And again, it doesn't matter where you put your A, B, or C. I'm just going to put A, B, C like this. I know A is 33 degrees. I don't know angle B. Okay. I know little b, so this is going to go across from my B. And I know that C is 80. And they want me to, again, solve for the triangle. Okay. So I am going to need to find this angle. Okay, this angle here at B. I am going to need to find this A across from angle A, and I'm going to need to find across from C, little c. Okay, that's what I'm going to need to find. So obviously the easiest thing to do right now, and I have to anyways because I don't have any pair, I don't have an angle with the side opposite. Angle, don't know the side opposite it. Here I know the side but not the angle. But I can easily find this angle. So to find angle B, again, I'm going to take 180 minus 80 minus 33, and I end up with 67. So I know that this is a, oops, let me change my color. This is a 67, okay? So I know that angle B is 67 degrees. And so now I am going to use this sine of b over little b, so sine of 67 over 11, to find my a, and then to do the same thing and find my c. So let's find a first. Okay, so again, I'm going to use what I know. I know sine of, 67. Sine of 67 over 11 is equal to, and again, if I'm trying to find a, sine of 33 over little a. Okay, and so when I cross multiply and solve, I'm going to get a sine of 67 equals 11 sine of 33. I'm going to divide both sides by sine of 67, so I'm going to get a is equal to 11 sine 33 over sine 67. And I'm going to put that into my calculator. Again, to do that, I'm going to do alpha y equal, okay, and I want number 1. And so 11 sine 33 over sine 67. And I end up with a 6.51 if I'm rounding. So this is going to be a 6.51 is A. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same process for C. I'm going to be using this sine 67 over 11, and this time sine of 80 over C. Okay, shrink this a little. Okay, so I'm going to do, whoops, thought I got a different color. Sine of 67 over 11 is equal to sine of 80 over C. I am going to cross multiply that, so let me just move this up a little. So when I cross multiply that, I'm going to get C times sine of 67 equals 11 sine of 80. I am going to divide both sides by sine of 67. So C is going to equal 11 sine 80 over sine of 67. And I'm going to put that into my calculator. Again, this is almost that. I'm going to change this to an 80. And I get 11.77 if I'm rounding. So my C is going to be 11.77. Move it off the, let me space that better. So 11.77 is my answer. Okay, next one. So on this one again, they've worded it slightly different, but it's the same idea. It says solve for all missing sides. Here they want us to go to the nearest tenth, which means one number after the decimal accuracy, okay? So looking at this, this is going to, I'm going to do a cursive lowercase l so it doesn't look like a 1. And then here, this is going to be my j, okay? And I need to find this angle. Again, this angle I can easily find just by doing 180 minus. So let me just put L, I'm going to put it over here, give myself some space. L equal, use that to do my math. And so I'm going to take 180 minus 42 minus 84. And I'm going to get 54. So this is going to be 54 degrees. So I'm going to write that in here. And so in this case, I actually knew a pair of these. So I'm going to use this pair, use the 54 degrees I just found to help me with L, and then use the 42 to help with J. Okay, so let's say I do this one in orange. Okay, so I'm going to find this L. So I'm going to be doing sine of 84 over 50 equals sine of 54 over L. Sorry, that's lowercase l. I'll do it as a cursive L. So then I'm going to get L times sine of 84 is equal to 50 sine of 54 degrees. Divide both sides by sine of 84. So I get 50 times sine of 54 over sine of 84. And I'm going to put that in my calculator to find little l. Okay. And so I'm going to do alpha y equal 50 sine 54 over sine 84. And I end up with 40.67, so 40.7. 40.7. Now I'm going to find my last one. So this is big J, so this is going to be little j that I'm going to find. So again, I'm going to use the 84 and the 50, and then the 42 at the J. So I'm going to do sine of 84 over 50 equals sine of 42 over J. Cross multiply. So I'm going to get J sine of 84 equals 50 sine of 42. I'm going to divide both sides by sine of 84. So I'm going to get, and I'm just going to kind of zoom in a little so I can write it a little easier. J equals 50 sine of 42 over sine of 84. Okay, over sine of 84, and I'm going to put that in my calculator. So again, come up here, steal that. And I want, instead of this being a 54, I need it to be a 42. And I end up with a 33.6. So my J is going to be 33.6. 33.6. And those are our answers. Okay, now on the next one, they actually are just asking us to solve for one particular value, it looks like. It says solve for A. So let's take a look. Now, this one is going to be a little different because I'm going to have to find an angle, which we did in the other ones, but we knew two angles and we could easily find the third. Now, they're not asking me to find all the missing pieces. The only thing they want me to find is angle A, knowing side A. And then I'm going to use this 51 with the 9.4. So I'm going to set it up the same way, but I'm going to have an extra little step at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take sine of 51 over 9.4 is equal to sine of A over 6. Again, cross multiply and solve. So when I cross multiply this, I'm going to get a 9.4 times sine of A. So you'll notice my angle is what I'm trying to find this time. So that's going to be slightly different. And then I'm going to cross multiply this way. So it's going to be 6 sine of 51. I want to solve for A, sine of A to start with. So I am going to divide both sides by 9.4. So I'm going to get sine of A is equal to 6 sine of 51 over 9.4. Now, when you're trying to find an angle, this is what the sine of the angle is equal to. I want the angle that gives me this back as a sine. So when I want the angle, I have to do sine inverse if I'm dealing with sine. So what I'm going to do is A is going to equal sine inverse of this whole thing. 6 sine 51 over 9.4. And again, I'm not going to calculate that and then have to write it down. I am going to just take sine inverse of this whole thing. So sine inverse is again going to give me back the angle. So when I'm doing this, sine inverse, here's sine inverse. So second and the sine button, there's sine inverse, and then I'm going to do alpha y equal, and then I'm going to get a fraction, and then I'm going to put this in. So I'm going to be putting in 6 sine 51 over 9.4, and when I get that, I get 29 point, let's say 74 degrees. So A is equal to 29.74 degrees. That's a degrees, really big degree symbol, huh? And that is my answer. So extra step, when you don't know two angles to get the third, and you have a situation where you have sine A that you're trying to solve for, you have to take sine inverse. Okay, now the last ones are dealing with the area formula. So let me just get to that. So what basically is happening for this area formula? So if you have a triangle, A, B, C, with little a across from A, little b across from B, little c across from C. What's going to happen is basically you're going to have side, angle, side. You're going to know a side, an angle, and the side. That's two sides with the angle in between. So if I happen to know angle A, then the formula I would use is 1/2. So angle A, I'm going to take half of B times C times sine of A. If I happen to know angle B, okay, then I'm going to take 1/2 and I'm going to use A times C, these two sides, A times C times sine of B. If I know angle C, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to know these two sides, and I'm going to then take 1/2 A times B, the two sides that are in between, that this angle's in between, times sine of C. So what you'll notice is whatever angle this is, the sides are not the one that's opposite it. It's the other two sides, okay? So that's the formula. So formulas, depending on what we're doing. So now let's take a look and let me draw in the actual situation. Let me just pause while I... Okay, so if I have triangle ABC, and in this case, I know angle B is 122. I know that little a, so right here, is going to be 21. I know that little c, so that's going to be right here, is 10. And you'll notice I have side, angle, side. So I'm going to be using the sine of this angle and these two sides. So my area, and I'm going to write area and not A equal because I don't want you to think we're finding this A. This is area. So I'm going to take 1/2 my 10 times my 21 times sine of 122. Sine of 122. And I'm just going to put that in my calculator. So instead of typing in 1/2, I'm going to go 0.5 times 10 times 21 times sine of 122, and I end up with 89 point, let's say 05. So 89.05 units. 6 is similar, but the difference is this time I know the area, okay? And I need to find either a missing side or angle, okay? In this case, it looks like a missing side. So if I just sketch a picture real quick, A, B, C, I know this is 87 degrees. I know that this is 13. This is going to be the one I want to find. Okay, that's the one I want to find. I'm just going to kind of circle it. That's what I'm going to find. And so notice again, side, angle, side. So I'm going to be using these three things. And so I'm going to take 1/2 13 times b times sine of 87 equals area. And I happen to know what the area is. Okay. So I'm going to be doing area equal 1/2 times 13 times b times sine of 87. And again, I know the area. They gave me the area. The area was given right here. It's 21.6, 21.6. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I am going to put this in, I'm going to try to get my b by itself basically. If you want, instead of this being a 1/2 like this, you can change this to a 0.5 if you prefer that. Maybe that might make it a little easier for you to put in the calculator. Okay, so now I want to get my b by itself. So basically I'm going to have a 21.6. I'm going to be dividing by 0.5, 13, and sine of 87. So 0.5 times 13 times sine of 87 is going to equal b. Okay. So I'm going to do alpha y equal, get my fraction, 21.6 over 0.5 times 13 times sine of 87. And I end up with 3.33, let's say. So B is about 3.33. And that's your answer. So hopefully you find this helpful.